Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of
HR Won't Like This.
I'm Amy,
And I'm Daniel.
and today we have a very segment.
Yeah, if you guys can't see or can't tell, this is a slightly different
Format.
seating arrangement that we have, and
That
somehow we match. And I don't want to talk about that, but yeah.
What segment are we calling this time?
So this time around, we have a new segment. And it's called HR Town Hall, where we invite young professionals to share some horror stories or even
Their experiences
within
in-
their own respective industry,
Yeah.
and why HR won't like what they're about to say.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is a HR
Town.
town hall, nightmare, town hall, whatever the hell.
So let us introduce you to a good friend of mine who worked with me before, Christopher Nolan.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris.
Yeah, introduce yourselves.
Yeah,
like,
give us like a bit of a rundown. Who are you? What's your name? What's your age? What's your IC number?
Yeah, your social security number, if you can, your bank account number, your
Yeah.
PIN, everything.
Social security number.
Yeah.
It's no longer in my mind. Anyway, hello, I'm Chris Tay. I am turning 32 this year. Yeah, I've worked with Amy before. Yeah, so in journalism, which is a rather unhinged industry in itself, you know? Yeah.
I agree. Chris, how long have you been in this journalism industry?
This was like 999 where like you're interrogating him.
Chris, what have you done 3 days ago? Well,
Where were you 3 days ago?
shut up.
3 days ago.
We're going to talk about media since both of us used to be reporters at
And-
a very prestigious company, agency.
Yeah, an agency. And plus, as you guys know, I work in PR. So the media is basically my best friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chris, you've been a reporter for like what, five and a half years.
Nearly 6 years.
So like you work with mainly like a news agency, right?
Yeah.
Tell us like what's a day to day of a reporter slash journalist look like?
Well, there are many stages, you know. So for newcomers, usually they are mostly in charge of press releases and monitoring social medias of ministers, deputy ministers,
So, like-
political parties.
So like y'all are stalking these ministers like on a daily basis lah,
Yeah,
on their social media. Damn.
yeah.
I like how he just admitted that he stalks people.
I mean,
I mean, we have to stalk. If we don't stalk,
no
we
stories,
miss-
ma.
Yeah, we miss updates. We miss important announcements. Yeah.
That's
so
And you know how Malaysian ministers like to like, oh hello, here's a little surprise for you. Like really, this is how they've been operating. This is like, oh okay, I cannot make it to the parliament today because I have to go to the
No,
hospital.
Because I have a stomach ache.
Yeah.
oh, Parliament is another.
Oh.
it's it's a horror show in its entirety, not including the media.
Okay, since you've been like 6 years in the media, right? Is there any unhinged story that you would like to share with us? Like, do you think like,
Yeah, or any of like your personal experiences where you're like, oh my god, why am I here? Why do you have to do this? I want the world to swallow me whole kind of story.
yeah?
Wow, I will have to start from the beginning then.
Oh wow.
Picture this, Sicily, 1925, tiba.
Kuala Lumpur, 26 Jun.
26 Jun, sebelum merdeka.
Puyo.
Tiba.
Nah, not that long. I started out as a journalist back in Ipoh. I'm from Ipoh, by the way. Yeah.
Ipoh,
I'm sorry,
Mali.
I forgot to tell you where I'm from. I'm from Ipoh. Born in Selangor, raised in Ipoh. Yeah. Yeah. Started out as a journalist in 2019. Yeah. And no names. Yeah. It's a community newspaper. It's rather small, actually. It's Ipoh focused.
I think I know what it is. It's beep.
So it's a community newspaper. No politics. Just just government programs.
Local news.
Yeah, local news, personalities, arts.
Mm.
You know. So
Like-
it's now. Yeah, now that I worked in KL before, that stuff actually was rather mundane.
It's a lot more demure, you think?
Yeah, demure is the word. And then, well, yada yada yada, and COVID hit. Yeah, so that changed the media landscape quite.
How did it change it? Like I mean, like from an insider perspective, right? Because I think when COVID hit, I was still struggling with my mental health, and I was trying to become a functioning member of the society. So I don't really pay attention. But like, how did it like shift the landscape?
Well, because during COVID, right, AI rose like nobody's business. AI,
Does it?
social media. Yeah, actually,
I think it's not like Chat GPT where you're like thinking about. It's like, you know, those kind of like small AI models that they integrate. Because I think also, right, it's because we were social distancing and they were trying to figure out with like certain like how to minimize contact. So I think if you notice, right, a lot of parking lots now, it's automated.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I think that's also one of the AIs that they use. Sunway implemented that like when COVID happened, I think, if I remember correctly.
yeah. So if I recall correctly, it did not start during when COVID ensued. It like maybe 2021, 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because in 2020 MCO started, there weren't much news.
Yeah.
Because being a community newspaper, you know everything community related is all people gathering in one place.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was no longer allowed.
During COVID, you're not allowed to go out, but you can date.
Like somebody who sat at a mama stall and joined table and then got fined.
Well, that's not me.
But that's someone she knows. But anywho.
We need to stop.
Not only romantic
Yeah.
I'm tired. Okay, you know what? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened? Like, why did you resign from that place?
Well,
Dun, dun, dun.
again, no names. Yeah.
No, you can put name. I'll just bleep it out.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Never mind. I'll just call her an old hag.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. An old hag with supposedly journalism experience when in fact she just wrote for a magazine. Yeah. And then she claims she has the most top experience and she constantly tries to push the marketing mindset on us when in fact marketing and journalism doesn't always go hand in hand.
That is true, actually.
Yeah.
That's very true. Because the real reason journalism exists is to, you know, spread information, like
Yeah.
ideally unbiased information, but depending on like, you know, which media outlet you're tied to, they have their own narrative. Like, here's the thing about media, right? It depends if you're like government skewed or you're very, you know,
Anti-government.
not to say anti-government, lah, but you're very free. You're the one who's anti-government.
Hey. I proclaimed my love to the government.
Oh, yeah, I
love
forgot, I
my
forgot.
government.
She loves the government, guys. So yeah.
In jail.
So yeah, I mean with media, right? It's not to say it's tricky, but you just have to. It's a weird place to understand. Like for us, right? We work in PR.
Yeah.
Like I said, like media is our best friend, so we need to understand like the media landscape and how it works, which media outlets reports what kind of news, etc., etc. Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, oh yeah. Speaking of, as a journalist, right? As a former journalist, sorry, how is your experience with like those in PR? Do you have like a good experience or like a bad experience? And you can lay it out in the open.
Come on, Chris. I know you have stories.
You have some horror stories that you've shared with us, and we're like,
I know you have stories. It's
Holy
time to
moly.
share with the world.
Yes.
Holy
with
moly.
11.
With 11 views.
The world that we have has only 11 people.
It's okay.
Still, I have to put it out. I love this show. I love this show a lot. I watch
Thank you, thank
each and
you.
every of their episode because they are very good.
Thank you, we're
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, horror stories. Come
horror
on.
story.
Well, in Ipoh, there weren't much disasters for me, PR considered. In KL, yeah, a lot. Because a lot of press releases, a lot of PR people that I had to liaise with them are clients. Yeah. So clients have their own deadlines, have their own special requirements, which I can just bluntly say, throw journalism down the drain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer journalism. It's we
It's like promoting, right?
yeah we become PR technically.
Yeah,
ourselves.
basically you guys are like marketers lah when these like
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, and especially if the PR is a pushy person, if the company is a pushy person.
Do you have one story about pushy? Actually, we do. Me, okay.
The realization in her eyes, like actually we do.
I mean, during our time together at that agency, can I tell the story?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
We have this one particular client. This particular client is very pushy. Sometimes after we post their story already out in the open, they will call us like 3 days later and be like, hey, I need to change this, blah, 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 blah. And it has been 3 days. In media, right, just to give like a bit of a tea, if you give your media release to us, after 3 days, it's already
it's
done.
stale news.
Yeah,
It's still
because
news.
because the news cycle has already ended and people are moving on to like better things. Hello, they have something to report on. Okay, like that one missing girl in Kuala Kubu Baru needs attention.
Yeah. Because like media, usually news wise, if it's not that important, it will only last for 1 hour and then it's gone.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, a lot of people, here's the thing, right? I'm from like the other side of the fence. So, and you have been on both sides of the fence and you are on the journalism side of the fence, right? People tend, and when a lot of like PR professionals that I notice now, they tend to take that, trend. Not, I don't like to say I don't like to use the word transaction, but it's starting to look like it's transactional.
It is.
It's there's no more like relationship building. There's no more like cultivating that relationship with the media because at the end of the day, I don't know. I think people tend to forget, or like young execs or like young PR professionals tend to forget that the R in the PR stands for
it's a
relationship.
relation.
It's like it's relationship management.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of like PR clients during our time that are that pushy.
And
Didn't y'all ever say anything like, hello, excuse me?
Even when we like complain to our editors, usually our editors is the one who will complain to
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah.
And marketing will be like play it down to the client so that the
Oh,
client
yeah.
will come back.
Well,
Well, okay. Here's another tea I want to spill.
yes, please.
Yeah. Most of the problems arising from clients is usually the marketing department because they have to, they have their own KPI. I'm not exactly blaming them. They have their job to do, but the way they keep pushing stories unrelated to our field of writing because
Yeah.
being a news agency, it's all hard news. So be it politics, sports, crime, court cases. Now those are urgent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Press releases from clients, depending on the nature, they're mostly not urgent. But some clients make them sound urgent, which takes a toll on us.
Yeah.
Because we have so many things to do already. And these
Then does not include like we have to go and meet the ministers.
Yeah.
Stories, and that does not include the fact that if our prime minister have an event on that day.
Yeah.
If a minister have an event on that day and you send a press release, good luck. PR, young PR people out there in Malaysia, if you want to send a PR release, your press release,
PR
right?
really.
If you want to send your press release, please check whether our prime minister has anything to do that day.
Not just prime ministers, I think, and I think it's also about just
The
looking
event
at
event.
No, just looking at like the situation as a whole, right?
Yeah.
Because as a PR professional, I think it is your duty and your responsibility to understand the landscape so that one, you don't put like your client in, you don't toss them into like an unwanted crisis and fire which you then have to deal with at the end of the day because like of your poor decision making. And also some things are just, yes, as PR people we need to be aggressive, but at the same time also you need to understand the media and what they cover. If you're looking to like pitch something and it's on a lifestyle outlet, then by all means be as aggressive as you want, right? As long as like the channel is right and it's of value to the media. But if you are pitching something about like, let's say, like a cooking show that is done by a group of like military trained mice to a news agency, think again lah. No, really, it could be like
Military trait mice.
hey, hello, you don't know what the US did. They tried to train like pigeons as spies, okay, back then.
I mean, historically,
never-
people has used pigeon as spies.
You never know.
People think birds are robots,
Yeah, that's why.
but you're scared of birds.
We'll get to that point later lah.
So, okay, you rambling about like all this. We have a guest here.
I'm sorry.
So, Chris, have you ever worked with like lifestyle media and like what? Okay, we know we've dealt with like hard news media and there's soft news media, right? So, hard news is like what you said, like crime, court, politics, and then there's lifestyle. Have you ever worked on lifestyle?
Yeah.
And what are the juicy stories that you know about
Yeah,
lifestyle?
any like insider tea
Yeah.
that you can share.
Wow, that takes me back to Ipoh because it's all community. It's all artsy
Artsy,
community stuff,
fartsy,
and
like him.
unfortunately,
He is artsy fartsy.
he's okay. He's okay.
Oh.
He is
See,
okay.
how are you? Why are you painting me as a villain in front of the guests?
I'm
What are
not
you trying to
painting
do?
you as a villain?
I am the villain.
Yeah, anyway, he's okay. There are a lot more self-absorbed people I've interviewed, and because we're forced to keep up with them,
Forced to keep up with that.
we have to. If not,
Keep up with us.
Held at gunpoint, right? Like,
yeah, because no offense to arts people. I appreciate your work, the mindset changes you bring to the people.
Yeah.
But sometimes, can you just tone it down a bit? Because not all the time do people wanna look at art stuff. No doubt it's a titillating experience to do. But when it's more important to focus on the present.
yeah. And plus, I think they tend to forget, right? Like, their art is actually not for everyone.
Yeah,
Like certain
exactly.
people will resonate with it and certain people won't, but that's the beauty of art anyway.
Yeah, because art is a really subjective matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It depends on how you perceive it. It depends on
this
how
is
you
art.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Podcast is an art.
Yeah, it is. It is.
He is like, are you sure?
I'm trying to think, how is this
Are
an art form?
Trust me, it is. It is. It is.
How is this an
Yeah.
art form? But okay lah.
Well, communications is a form of art. PR is a form.
I was like, huh?
Hey,
I'm dying.
anything that has to do with human communication is art. Is a form of art.
I mean, I think if like I get what you mean lah. It's a long. It's
Okay.
I'm
okay. I'm gonna break it down to you like this lah. Art is not only limited to drawing,
paintings and
paintings.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because even the way you persuade people, which
arts
is what
of-
you are doing.
the arts of persuasion.
Yeah, even journalism is a form of art.
Yeah, that's true. What are you trying to do?
Now,
Sorry.
even that is a form of art.
Sorry.
That art is not for everyone.
But yeah, again, it's a really subjective matter, and it depends on how an individual perceives it.
Yep, that's true.
Okay, Chris, what else? What question do you have? This is from the media. Please ask people from the media.
So like, okay,
Well,
what are
ex-media.
your? I mean, as a former journalist, right? What you know now versus what you know, like what you wish you know then.
General knowledge is important because as a journalist, you have to keep up with every single current affair.
That's true.
from announcements by the government, whether it's subsidies or or in the context of this year, ASEAN. Oh yeah, lots of highways closed and lots of ministers.
Yeah.
But you're not in
delegates.
KL
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, that.
He is safe.
I mean,
Yeah, oh my god, you don't know when like during the ASEAN summit, right? Like I am hearing sirens left, right, and center, and I was like, who died now?
oh yeah, and
And I
even-
forgot it's like the summit.
Even a section of the highway was stuck for
A
Yeah.
hours
lot
in a
of
jam.
like the roads
Yeah.
were closed, even the
Yeah.
roads to
And
the
people were
airport.
like pissed off, you know.
I mean, okay lah, I
But
get
then
it.
they already give you like the roads that are gonna be closed. But what they ask is like, why can't you give us the time? The thing is, how would they would know? Yeah, they have schedule, yes, but sometimes they have other things to do.
That's why they need to keep up with the media and news.
Yeah,
See how I'm tying it back there?
reel it back, boys, reel it back.
So yeah, I mean, I think maybe one last question from me, right? Is how would you advise, like especially like with the birth of like social media now, right? Suddenly everyone and their mother is considered a journalist.
Yeah.
City journalist.
Yeah, so like how would you advise, especially our younger generations, right? How to consume media properly, how to like, really filter through the news that they read, because it's a whole lot. It's like a wormhole of information, right?
Yeah, because now with social media, there's a lot of like information are being saturated.
Yeah.
and also there's a lot of fake news
Yeah.
going all around. So, what are your nasihat abang?
Nasihat abe kepada orang ramai.
Well, because
I don't know why that came out, but it did. So
actually, it kind of pains me to say this, but a lot of the news you read nowadays, it's no longer balanced. It's no longer impartial, because every single news publication, news agency for that matter, they are always tied with a specific party. I won't specify what party, but yeah, and
Party. Okay, sorry.
yeah. So and when it comes to any piece of news, whether it's online, whether it's from a news portal or whatever, it's really important to fact check.
yeah.
Yeah. Make sure the background is accurately depicted. Make sure what the subject said in an event or whatever the subject in discussion actually said what they said.
Yeah.
Because a lot of publications, they tend to switch it to
They tend to
narrative lah.
to
they-
match their agenda.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
tend to skew it in their favor
Yeah,
lah,
yeah,
usually.
yeah.
So I mean that's a really good piece of advice, because not just young people now, but I think even the older generations, I notice in my own families, right? Sometimes they struggle to really pick, and not to say pick and
Grasp.
choose, but to grasp the news, because
It
here's the-
change all the time.
yeah, here's the thing. Okay, you guys can do this like if you guys have the time at home. Go to like 3 or 4 news outlets in Malaysia, right? Select the same news, and you can see how differently it is interpreted
Yeah.
in accordance to like the news outlets, and then you will figure out how the media is actually conveying information.
Yeah.
Oh, and,
Like just try. This is a short experiment that, I mean, as a PR professional, I like to do it because it kind of like shows how things are being portrayed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you get unbiased.
Now that's good advice, because as what Daniel said, news publications, they do the same piece of news on a subject, on a matter or whatever, but they tend to focus on
Different things.
stuff.
Different,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They will highlight different things
Yep.
based on what their company wants.
Yep,
you know?
that's
exactly.
true.
And that's normal.
And that is why it's important to be
Vigilant.
to
Yeah.
be vigilant, to read more.
Yes, read more. Okay, open the schools back. Open the schools. That's my advice. Open
oh.
the schools.
And last
The schools are open.
Open it wider.
and before I forget this, lastly, always practice AI checking because
There's a lot of AI stories now.
lot of
Yeah.
a lot of news, a lot of videos associated with a certain piece of news are AI created.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
I'm not gonna recount the cases of AI caused disasters from certain publications. Yeah. Oh no! I'm not gonna discuss that anymore.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much, Chris. He came all the way from Ipoh, by the way.
Yeah.
Just to be part of like HR One Like This. And
Thank you for being the first guest
Thank you for having
of
me.
our show.
I am really honored. Thank
If
you.
anybody out there wants to be like Chris and want to be part of our show and want to share your experience
Yeah.
in your own respective way,
and in your
please-
own like industry,
Yeah.
things which you think, HR won't like to hear, like let us know and drop, like you can comment or you can just reach out to us.
Yeah, you can reach out to us on our social medias. We have a TikTok and also an
Yeah.
Instagram. You can also email us at
Allah.
podcast@swstrategy.
Or shoot us a DM.
Yeah,
Yeah, shoot us a DM.
yeah. Shoot us the DM.
DM. But yeah, this has been HR Won't Like This, the first ever HR Town Hall. And with our special guest, Chris. Thank you so much for tuning in on Spotify and for watching on YouTube. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share whatever it is that you need to do. And we will see you on the next one.
episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.